What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Day1Radio right here on Live Hip Hop Daily. I'm Maurice Garland in the building with my man BP. What's happening, man?
Nothing. Sitting up here trying to duck these road closures and stuff out here during Super Bowl week. But everything is good. It's crazy, bro. I have a mutual friend of both our guests today, Miss Jackie Johnson, the homie, had told me before that Dwayne Wiggins, songwriter, musician, singer, producer, Grammy Award winner. Man. It was moving to Atlanta and we needed to connect and we never made it happen, and we happened to run in each other at Yard House the other day.
Wow.
I was like, hey man, how long you in town? Let's go ahead and do it. And as a man of his word, town business came through.
Man, ain't it cool how everything just happens in its own time?
Exactly.
That's dope. You just sitting by and then you remind me of that. I was like, damn, Jackie stay linked.
Yeah. That's the homie, man.
That girl go hard.
So in case y'all didn't catch on, we are in here with Mr. Dwayne Wiggins, 1/3 of Toni, as many people may know him as, man. Welcome to the show, man.
Man, it's good to be here, man. It's the first show I've done since I've been in Atlanta.
Oh, wow, man.
Out here, really.
That's what's up.
Appreciate.
So I feel honored, bro.
What made you move out this way, man?
I've been coming to Atlanta since '88. Since we came out, and I saw a different Atlanta, and I saw things, and I'm seeing it what it is now, and I think that there's a lot of opportunity. Bringing Oakland down to Atlanta again. You know what I mean? In a different way. I'm out here, doing some movie scoring and some other executive things behind the scenes, but I'm out here just trying to feel what's going on, and then I land this right here. I think this is fly, right? This is a good base right here, bro.
For sure, appreciate it. And it's interesting you said again, because we had Short come out here and bring Oakland out here.
Come out here all the time, man. That would snatch me up at that. Because we would be hitting nut spots. So you know what I mean? Yeah, to see it right now, it's been prepped and set up for this look. It is the real Hollywood right now.
Yeah, Black Hollywood.
And people doing real business out here, man.
Yeah,
that's
for
what
sure,
I did.
most definitely. You had mentioned doing the film scoring and doing executive things and all of that, and I think a lot of people know you from your music, but if you locally in the Bay, don't know that you've had several businesses, over time, successful businesses that were outside of music. When did that entrepreneurial bug hit you and make you want to get money outside of just playing records?
I'm just straight up a child of the '70s, and that's what Atlanta reminded me of, like the '70s in Oakland.
Okay.
It was a lot of black businesses. Everybody was working together. Communities. We regulated and policed our communities and stuff. And I kind of get that vibe out here. Especially when I first came out here. But that's kind of like the school system I grew up in back in the day. They was teaching folks trades and stuff. You know what I mean? And so all of our folks come out of high school, starting their own business, and hiring smart people. Yeah. So I guess it started back then in Oakland, growing up around the Panthers, growing up Slide Stone, seeing Santana in the park, and people always had their own thing. And so, but I met you and saw you at a time when I had a cafe called the Java House.
Yeah,
and it was off of Lakeshore, right in between Pete's and Starbucks, and I was giving them the cold business. I was beating them down, man.
Yeah,
it was like a little house of blues spot. So I've always enjoyed, man, being able to have music as the soundtrack to whatever I do. Right. That's it. I mean, that guitar thing is my therapy.
You grew up in a time, man, where music was in the schools, music was out in the streets, people were playing instruments. When were you first introduced to music and knew I can actually do this, I'm not just a fan?
Well, I mean, back in the day for me, there was a lot of bands around, musicians, all in Oakland. You got rappers all over the place right now.
Right.
You have musicians, and you can, so we had a lot of talent shows, but then the talent shows we did back then, it was a real production. You had to focus for 3 months, make rehearsals on time, because dress rehearsals. So it was really about being organized. You learn the prep, setup, and execution, close the deal. So that's a big part of what the Tonys was about.
Yeah.
Me and my brothers, my family, and then Raphael getting that end of it when we went into the whole Prince scene and stuff like that. But it's always been about the streets was education for us.
Okay.
Really? Yeah, especially then West Oakland.
Yeah,
please.
for sure. Most definitely. People don't really know a lot about that come up. I think it's a lot of people that are from Oakland, either from Oakland or cut their teeth in Oakland, that people really don't realize, like legends out here that folks don't know.
It's a beautiful thing because me being in the game over 30 years, we've been doing this Tony thing, but I've been doing it 10 to 12 years waiting for that. So I'm gonna throw my age out there, but it's all out there anyway. So let's go.
It's on the internet.
Right. I think they gave me some years though. That's what's cool. They got my shit off. I just gave me 2 years. I'm like, I will take it. Anyway, man. It's just good to see things like this come back around, man. Atlanta got it popping with that new energy. They got it. They see it. They stars from the top. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Before they even touch wax or see how old I am. I'm talking about wax.
Right.
Wait a minute. Wax
touch
came
the
back.
Streaming. They selling records in Target now.
Hey, real talk. In Africa they selling records. They never stop.
Yeah.
And in London and man, it's so wax. We got to get back to a lot of the basics. So that's one thing I like about out here. Man, the musicianship, the arts, everybody's like on some let's move.
Yeah.
And you know what? Like I always saw like a what's the word I'm looking for? Like is it kindred relationship like between like Oakland and Atlanta, because you know it seems like Atlanta, like when I say we, I'm not an artist myself, but like a lot of musicians and artists out here got a lot of their inspiration to be independent musicians from the way that they saw Oakland musicians, or Bay Area musicians, operate. You know what I'm saying? It was like, oh damn, this person started off selling out the trunk. Oh damn, this person, they kind of signed to this record label, but they still got all the control. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of Atlanta artists got their inspiration to move like this from Oakland artists. You know what I'm saying?
And I'm telling you how it comes all full circle, all back around. In Oakland, West Oakland primarily, I always want to say that because that's how everybody, all of us got down into Oakland was from the South. Mm-hmm. So a lot of the ways, like when I come out here, I just feel right at home because a lot of those ways was lost in the town. You know what I mean? The community, you had respect for your elders, you had respect for yourself. Really, I mean, you was hustling, but everybody respect everybody's hustle.
Right.
We was about moving forward and not pulling back, pulling each other down. So that's what, that came from the South. Mm-hmm. So I'm saying it's coming back around, and I think I see the future bright for this entertainment business with us.
For sure, most definitely. You had mentioned 30 years in the game, man.
30 years, focus.
When you, because I know you were doing music before, had groups before Tony, but when you guys dropped, in 88, like, did you imagine that this would still be a thing and people would still be singing y'all songs? And
you talk stuff, you know what I mean? You think at rehearsals talking about, I'm gonna have this, I'm gonna do this, But we was really passionate about it. We like to play live on stage. We didn't even know how to produce in the studio until we hooked up with Foster McElroy. And that's who showed us.
Google them if you don't know.
Yeah. It's good. It's good to know that the music is really like the score to who we are, because we've been learning all the way. Even how this podcast thing is going down. I'm triple OG with this, bro. But I understand it because I got kids and they get me to a lot of stuff and they keep me focused. Plus, I've always been producing and working with the next level or who's next. I've always been interested in bringing out who's next, and I'm on that right now. Real talk,
We're definitely gonna get into that. You mentioned your kids. You got 2 sons, right? Yeah. So
and I have a daughter.
And a daughter. Okay, I didn't even know. So, but I know your 2 sons were in pop life. The group that you guys had that Kelani was in as well. Like, were you at all apprehensive, or were you like championing your sons to play music and start group? Because they did it in a big way. Like,
man, they've been raised around a lot of hitters.
Yeah.
So all those groups I produced or signed and developed.
Yeah.
You feel me? They got a chance to see the behind the scenes, what really go down. You know what I mean? Dill was hella little at that time. My daughter Alon, she coming out here this weekend for this whole party thing.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So y'all gonna have to look out for her. She like 28. She like sharp. You know what I mean? I think there's some opportunity for my family out here. But moving forward, we've always had instruments all around the house. You walk into the pad, the living room, Fender Rhodes, drum set, and all that. It's still set up like that. But it was just our house was just like love. instruments and anything you gravitate towards. It wasn't like forced on them, but it was natural for Dill and Jaden to get into it because you know they sat there and watched Alicia Keys just getting down. They said there's Beyonce damn near 12 hours on the microphone doing one part and isolating and being focused. That's that's the youth teaching the youth. You know what I'm saying? So that's how they got into it. But also when I had that cafe, man, that was a turning level for me because
a lot of people came through there.
My whole family was running that though. Like my daughter was behind the cash register getting it. My wife was managing the whole. My kids was messing with the music, and I was just kicking it, bringing that marketing part of it. So
for sure,
keeping it family. That's what it was about.
Are your sons still playing?
Hell yeah, they did some stuff with Solange and and a number of other artists, and so they following their passion, which is a beautiful thing, especially today. And to be able to make a living at it is a whole nother thing.
Right. Now, Maurice said earlier, people know you from the Tonys, but you've done a lot of other stuff in the industry. You just dropped a couple names, so we're going to get into it, man. We got to start with Destiny's Child.
Well, no, hold on. You know what's going to trip me out? Hold on. You said Pop Life because I can't hold all that information. Let me think about it. So, you was talking about, Pop Life. What was so cool about that, man? That was just something we started as a family trademark. And it was about, after working with all those groups that you was, about to talk to, I thought, look at this, man. Well, because working with that group, Destiny's Child, they was 13 and 14. I had to hire tutors and all type of stuff. I had to run like a school.
So it was like a training camp for you to
So that was in 1995, before the Tony's last album. I was learning a whole other thing, and then after messing with them, and then Keisha Cole, boom, fell, and then Alicia Keys, and India Irene, I don't even mention that one. Like the first song she did, I'm not the kind of girl, and she got that down in West Oakland with me and stuff. You feel me? So it's just so much history behind it, but it's good to know. That's what led me into doing Pop Life. But I felt like, because when Pop Life started, the young lady Zendaya was coming over to the house and singing. And then Kelani, I met her at the school when Dylan introduced me to her, and then that's how she became it. But before them, in the middle of them was a young lady by the name of Gabby. I don't know if y'all know Gabby. That's the young lady by the name of her.
Who I did not know was from Vallejo. Until recently. Somebody mentioned it, and I hear 40 because we got to run the Vallejo through Earl. And he was like, hell yeah, and then he texted me a picture of him and her together at the show. I was like, I had no idea.
Yeah, she possessed by Sly Stone, man, no doubt. You know what I mean? That young lady, I watched her go from instrument to instrument since, I had been working around her and having Dylan and her getting down on some concerts since she was 9 years old into, maybe 16 or 17 years old.
That's
crazy. When I had them rock R&B live in LA, when the kids walked up there and they tore shit up. Excuse me. I can say
you can say what you want to say.
Oh, wait a minute.
I've been at 75 this whole time. I've been 1,000.
Right.
Really? No, but anyway, that was cold, man. And to see those artists do what they do, that just proves to me, man, that's our money. We the money.
Right.
Bottom line, all we gotta do is keep, exposure is key. Exposure is key. I've always been about getting my kids out of the country, first of all, because they gotta see how, all that education you get, this is how it applies.
Right.
I mean, we gotta think on that global ass level, because our people are motherfucking global.
You're right.
100%. We are the money.
Before we get off of Pop Life, I wanted to get your opinion on what you saw in Kelani and where she's at now, because my little cousin Azaria, shout out to her, was in town this some years ago, and I was like, "What you listening to?" And she was like, "Oh, I like Kelani," and I was like, "I think she in town," so I hit up my people. They put us on the list for the show, sold out show.
Yeah,
and I've rarely ever experienced feeling tingles, not even 100% from her, but from the crowd's reaction to her. Yeah. This was like Cloud 9 mixtape era, Kelani, and she came out and didn't even really say a word. Her back was to the crowd, and people went crazy. And then I saw her rock for like an hour and a half, and it was gay, straight, Asian, black, white, Muslim. I saw a couple pregnant women in there, and they knew every song word for word. I was like, this girl's a superstar.
Yeah. She been around some of the best as well. Yeah, she been exposed to watching Jamie Foxx and whatever else, and such. And besides that, just being a young artist that seized opportunity. I mean, some people don't see the opportunity right before them. And she's a passionate artist. You can feel it all day. So that's why she can approach the crowd from the back and they feel it 100, man. So, I mean, when I first met her, I think she's like 13 years old. Dylan introduced me to her at Oakland School of the Arts. And he said she sang and she was coming up the stairs. And I said, let me hear you sing. And she just popped on the spot. So, first of all, that is the spot.
Yeah.
She
wasn't scared.
No. If you do it. Don't be talking about, oh, I can't. No. She went in right there. But besides that, you know, it's a number of things that made me really dig Kelani. And I never said this on any interview. This is the first time I ever went in because I'm so ass proud of her. Because I know the shit she had to go through. Like, whatever people may think, or they may, woo, it's triple times over. I don't know what's in the media, but to see her, when even just going to that level of, you know, going to America's Got Talent, the things that went on behind the scenes, you know, things that I know that she got game on. She gonna weed through this shit. Like what? You know what I mean? So what I liked about her, she had her own tone. She had her own tone. When she speaks, she sounded like a little cartoon character. You know what I mean? You could turn your head and hear someone's voice and you can tell who that person is. That's what she had, personality with it. So, you know, our family had been used to grooming and getting down like that. My sons didn't know, but the point of the matter is like they knew how to put music together at another level.
Right.
And I was just good with understanding you got to feed that artist the right energy to inspire them to keep and expose them to everything.
Right.
Yeah.
So, Destiny's Child, 13, 14 years old, mid-90s. You signed them, got them in the Bay Area.
Yeah.
You know,
I moved them from Texas to
training them. I don't think a lot of people know that at all.
Yeah, a lot of people think it just starts with, you know what I'm saying, it starts in Texas with the mom and dad. And what were they, like, what they, girls' time? You know what I'm saying? It starts there, but there was definitely stuff before that, man.
Well, you know, no, actually, that was before me. Girls' time, and what's beautiful about that is, man, they've been groomed around some of the best. So when they got to me, they was pretty polished. You know, I just brought that Oakland heart and bones and vibe to it, and I was straight doing songs and the whole bit. Not that they weren't doing songs before, but it was a different feel. And then also, I was the type of producer that, you know, I just set the platform and put it out there. I wasn't one of the ones like saying it's my way, whatever.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I was really learning from them. I watched how fast they can get in the studio and how they, like some artists be like, oh, that sounds cool. We did the vocals 3 or 4 times. That's cool. One little off and a little, we can do, that sounds, no, they were perfectionists and they were like 14-year-old kids speaking like that. So that was, to me, was dope. You know, and I had filmed a lot of stuff of the behind the scenes with them singing and doing stuff like that. And never realized, they're gonna be the biggest damn girl group in the world. You know what I'm saying? I never realized that. I was just remember like making sure the label paid for their education because I knew they gotta know how to count. You gotta learn another language. You gotta get this. You know what I mean? I already know what you're gonna see when if you hit a hit. If you really want to be a star, you better have a passport. You better be getting in like that. So that's all I was able to show them. And from there, I learned how to work with everybody else.
Right.
Because that was dope. That was dope, going from the House of Music album production deal meetings with, you know, Universal and whoever else, and then going over there to Sony and sitting with the hitters and then talking a whole nother number and be like, well, damn. So this is how it goes. So, you know, and that was the last album, the Tonys, when we were ex, and I was going into that.
Right.
And I never stopped.
Right. Alicia Keys, man, I know you worked with her when she was super young.
Yeah, she came to West Oakland. Stayed up at the House of Music, and that was a beautiful energy, man. That's all of those kids, man, helped me out with raising my family, because then I was able to see how to, you know, to dig into my daughter to make sure I'm like, look, see, you're gonna have your own mind, and you know what I mean, or not, because Alicia had her own fucking mind, bro. Yeah. She knew what she wanted and she knew what she didn't want. That's what's more important. And so I learned a lot from her as well.
Got you. And that ended up working with her on the Diary album, which
and Easy Mo B in the studio.
Wow.
What are you saying, man? He came in with a 1200. He put the 1200 on the table, and what's a trip is Alicia already knew I was going to trip, because she knew at my studio I had a 1200, and I'm a 1200 beast.
Got you.
I'm a doctor on the 1200. Man, look, so when he came up and pulled that out, it's like, what you know about that? And he started just laying beats, and it was a natural thing, man.
Gotcha.
It's just yeah, so for a person to recognize that, like, she knew I messed with the 1200 drum machine, but she knew he was a master. He is dude.
Right.
Yeah,
what was the one thing you learned from him watching him get down on it?
Oh, patience. Patience, because he move around cool and he's soft spoken, cool with it, but firm. You know what I mean? Yeah, the way he made me understand that everybody really truly has their own way of approaching how to make a hit. You know what I mean? And it's not no right or wrong way, show way or no way. Fuck it. That's what it is. You know what I mean? If you don't believe me, you ain't got the balls, they ain't gonna feel it. That's why you saying Kelani and how you saying the crowd was feeling her. Yeah, I know, because she been in some pits in Oakland with beasts on the microphone. You know, I took her to a show one time just to break them in the club. I was like, you can't try to play this high school shit. So I took her to Shattuck Low and down low in Berkeley, and Silk E was performing. Woo! Real Oakland. Throwing that shit got together. I was like, if you ain't put it down like that, you ain't gonna win in this game. The Silk E's is nuts with it. You saying? You know what I mean? That's what I feel in Atlanta. So I'm excited to come out here and bring some youth and expose them to this energy, as well as what's going on in Ghana and South Africa.
Got you.
That's really my.
One of the funniest stories I heard you tell was about your interactions with Keisha Cole when she was early on, when she was real straight out the town, Keisha Cole, and how you kind of just gave her game over time and helped groom her in the business.
Whoa, she was the coldest energy, and I love her with everything, man. Because I met her, but I think I was working on something for. I was closing out the Destiny's Child project, and working with Alicia, and Keisha came over one night, and one of my music buddies brought over like 2 or 3. I used to always give these after hours. I think you know about that. Yeah. So she came about 2 or 3 in the morning, and I was working on the track, and the mic was always on in the booth, and she got in the booth and just started taking it on the track, and I'm like, so after we chilled and just sat down, smoked and drank, whatever else. Next morning I woke up, I came into the studio and I hit the button because we all fell asleep. Some people left, what she did, and everybody else, but I played the track. I was like, who's that girl? Who's that girl came in? So I was rolling around West Oakland, the big body Benz, knocking on doors. Anybody know Keisha Cole? So it was a trip because, she was transitioning through something at that time. I didn't know, but when she came to the house, I had this studio that had this dope ass mural in it and the whole bit, and that was just a chill room there. And she needed a place to home in on her craft, and she stayed with me for about 2 or 3 years. And got a chance to see Alicia Keys in there, and Darren in there, all of those artists, to understand what it took. And then she worked at our cafe.
Wow.
Yeah, she worked at the Java House and was making that shit go.
Yeah. What do you look for, but then I'm gonna rephrase that because I don't even necessarily think you're looking. What is the thing that attracts talent to you and makes you attracted to talent? Because you can't work with everybody.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. I mean, it's on the artist. I mean, I can only set the platform and inspire, or just like I said, make sure you present opportunities for them. Some people don't take it. Some people. I work with a lot of artists that you don't hear about, and it wasn't about the money with me, because the money was great, and I wasn't pleased with the outcome of how things happened, because money changes game with people, boy, and it takes people to a while to realize how, hey, you are the money. If you don't show up and you don't, it don't happen. You know what I mean? It's about us selling us and making sure we represent us fully, forever. With me, that's what I feel. So
I feel that.
Yeah,
100%. Taking it back, man, to the early days. I asked you, did you think you would still be around during this time and people would be resonating with the music? But one of the things that kind of was, I guess, backwards, we figured out later. When Kedar Massenberg coined the term neo soul, but people who've been listening was like, well, the Tonys was doing neo soul well before this term was ever thought up. Do you kind of embrace that as being one of that label as being one of the forefathers of neo soul?
Kedar Massenberg, I know him in many different lights, and one that I'm very thankful for. He's the one that put me out as a solo artist, and I wasn't even trying to be that.
Right.
And and he let me see that side of it. I mean, I enjoyed it because I like playing music, and I got a chance to jam with my partners, and we just traveled, and I, met people. But so when he said that, a few folks got it, you know, offended by it, whatever. Me, I thought it was a blessing. Hey, the time moves. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Time moves, and you want to be a part of what's moving. And he's a very worthy person because he did deliver some hits. And some hit artists, and so you know, please, you know, that D'Angelo shit wasn't no joke. Stop playing, and more. You know, I mean, he's still in it. He's still in there behind the scenes. I haven't seen him in a long time, but you know, the Neo Soul thing really was a part of some instruments we used, like that old guitar I got over there. That's a '74 Fender Coronado. You know what I mean? And it's part of the flavor of our music. And the Wurlitzer that we use, which I got from a gentleman named Joe Capers back in the town, got $75, but I knew it was that keyboard that Donny Hathaway used on The Ghetto. And it just had its own personality. So all over the House of Music, you hear that from Fender Rose. And some Sons of Soul, too. You know, and that's what gave it that texture of something classic. That along with the strings as well and the guitar.
Gotcha. True or false? You brought up D'Angelo. Lady was actually a Tony
It
song.
Was something Ray and Tim was working on. I don't know if it was called Lady, but the music and stuff was laid out. But you know, that was a dope combination. That three-way right there. You know, D'Angelo came in on that and just murdered it.
It's a classic album, man.
Please, man.
That's a classic album.
I'm just honored to know how it happened and be a part of seeing it's just a reality, man. And it's out there right now, man, with these new artists.
Yeah. For sure. What's your favorite song in your catalog? Man. Favorite song to perform? What is this?
The favorite. Come on, whatever you want. That's my favorite. I wrote that on Seminary in the town. What are you saying?
I feel like whatever you want, from the beat to the lyrics to the performance.
Because it was
one of the best ballads of all time.
I'm not trying to say, I did my damn thing. It just captured a moment in time where I know where my mind was at that time. And I'm thankful to be here. How about that?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
As long as my name is Dwayne.
Hey, you can throw your own name.
But you know what though? It's like, I did not know that's what you were saying until I was grown. You know, growing up, you just singing the words of the song. And then you're like, oh shit, the dude saying his name.
Hey, man,
you can't lose when you do that.
It's a hell of a stamp to put on. Yeah, you got to.
Hey man, so I'm also loving how the industry is moving now by the younger generation. Like Meek came in, and God bless his soul, putting the message out there about supporting the community now. But he came when he refaded that track, and Chris Brown, and man.
Yeah. And it's a nice check, I'm sure.
Yeah.
At the same time. For sure.
That was our Ty Dolla $ign then.
Yeah.
That was his track, Man,
it was another beast.
Yeah, man.
Ty Dolla $ign is a beast.
Free the hard way right there. Look at that shit.
Ty is most definitely a beast. Super talented. And also, I interviewed him for a story some years ago, and he was saying, like, just music being around, like he was saying with your sons. He said he'd be doing a session, and his daughter, who was 4 at the time, would walk in the room, they'll walk back in, and she'll be messing around, replaying what they was just doing. No training. No nothing.
Yeah, exposure is key.
Yeah, most
exposure is key, bro.
So, another song, I've always been curious about this, because at the time I don't think anybody knew when you guys came out with Feels Good, and the cat Mo Preem that's rapping on is actually Pac's brother.
Tupac's brother.
How did all of that come together? And do you have any crazy Pac stories? Because Pac was running around the town crazy at the time.
And you know what's really a trip? He wasn't crazy to me. I just
running around.
Remind me of one of my
I've
brothers
heard the story because Rich is my cousin.
Okay, got it.
So
Rich. They the same.
They're
the same. I mean, they do their thing and they're passionate about it. And sometimes you get caught up in the wrong thing or being around the wrong people. You know what it is. Yeah. Good brother though, man. We all know. So meeting him from his brother Mercedes. I met Mercedes through this DJ named Beat Fixer. He called his name.
Okay.
It's Damon, and he was also Too Short's DJ for a while.
Okay.
But that's how he ended up coming on the track, because Pizzo's put that little intro in there. Play this record as frequently as possible, man.
Right.
And we went into stuff, having fun with tracks like that, and so I'll never forget how that happened. And then when Mercedes came on, that bad boy.
Mercedes, the mellow.
Man, and that fellow, Met 3T, had a rhyme a cappella. I'm like, boy, you are nice. And then we found out Pac was his brother later.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think all of us did. I had no idea that Pac was his brother when it came out.
No, I'm talking about back then. Though.
Back then, yeah.
That was when Pac was getting down with Digital Underground.
Right.
And so I would see Pac, you know, when he was doing this thing. I guess that thing that popped off in New York one time, and then I saw him at Prince's Club in L.A. And I'm walking in. I think it was who was that? Was it Brian McKnight? No. Usher and Aaliyah. Damn. Boom. They was hosting the show, and then Pac walked in, and so I was like, "Did you really do this shit?" Man, come on, man. They said, I was like, you know how stuff happened.
Yeah.
And it was just that easy, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I never saw him as being that way over the top. But any of us could be over the top when it happened.
Gotcha.
You know?
Nah, for sure. So the thing, of course, everybody wants to know, because true or false, you own the name Tony.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So, you know.
I created it, man. I used to call my partner that. I used to call his ass that, because he thought he was hella fly, and he'd be wearing your clothes. You come on, he was my roommate for a while. He could wear your clothes sitting there with some chick. We pull up in the house, and always had a bass, but really didn't play.
Yeah.
And got all the chicks. And we'd be jamming the whole time. He'd walk in, sit there for a while, and boom. So we came up with a name. We call him Tony. Whenever he walking around, I'd be like, I'm Tony. And he'd be like, fuck y'all, man. So it was a nickname, and we started dressing crazy and doing our thing, and then we started calling ourselves that, having fun.
Right.
And that's pretty much how it happened.
Got you.
So, but the whole thing, man, I've always envisioned. I grew up watching Menudo and just so much stuff in the Bay Area, Tower Power, all of this. I always believed in, you know, you got to make a brand that stands for something forever. Okay. You know what I mean? And from the gate, I felt that way. And so I've always, there's been times of songs that you hear that one of us would have done singular. We're all going to always say Tony.
Gotcha.
When we first started out in our thing, when we were writing in the studio, probably I was doing most of the writing, but who cares? At the time, I looked at whoever's in the room is getting writers on this, because it's all the same energy. It wasn't until we started seeing checks together. Then people was like, "Oh, we're gonna have to separate something." Like, okay, you know what I mean? I love this shit, but I always thought of it as a brand.
Yeah, right.
And you hold your percentages, and you show up and do. That's why the Rolling Stones are the Rolling Stones. You know what I'm saying? They got that business agreement on, you know what I'm saying, and they make it forever. So what I'm doing right now, man, with Tony is making sure I deliver what's next. Because our story is our story. We delivered a period of time. That's what it is. I'm not saying it's over with that. Okay. Because there's so much great. It's all about what we're exposed to. Man, that Afrobeat is crazy right about now. Yeah, what are you saying, man? Afrobeat with soul, Tony. I'm going back to Ghana first of all. Let's just say it. Right.
So how was it at all difficult for you to go on stage as Tony without your brother and without your cousin?
Hell yeah, man. Do you know what that energy is like when I used to be playing? I always looked at me and Raphael like the brothers Johnson. Okay. Go look at that album when them fools got in the yellow satin suits, basically. So I was like, we gonna be, and we are like that. I mean, if he show up on the stage now, like sometimes he does, not as often as he used to, but he show up, and I don't even have to see him. We just speak with our instruments. Okay. You know what I'm saying? We ain't the most outstanding, this, that, and other, but when you get us, it's a different vibe. So yeah, I miss that. But I know one thing: if we don't go out there and support what is Tony about, somebody else gonna brand it, and then all of a sudden we gonna lose what you want to call neo soul or whatever you want to call it. It's gonna be.
That's how it always happens, especially with black music. You know what I'm saying? People always complain about, oh man, I wish they keep making this kind of music. It's like that happens when black people stop supporting that kind of music. Then you get mad with somebody else.
We the days now. We gotta stop saying what they can't do. We the days. We gotta do it. Yeah. You know what I mean? 100%. You got to go out there and represent. I like the fact that I was able to get a Grammy with Alicia, but you know what my Grammy is? Still be able to hit them damn stages and seeing the different ages and nationalities and cultures all getting it. Like you said that about Kelani. I was like, yeah, that's what it's supposed to be. World music, man. You know, you feel me? So I mean, our music, I'm going forever. I'm rolling out with this one to the end. So it may come around. It's just gonna come around a different way. Gotcha. And you know, people will settle their minds. But me, I think I know I drive this very well. All right. And I want to build something out to. There's so much going on in the tech world today, though. Hell yeah. So I'm messed up. I'm like, look. So I got to sit back, and I got to take that Tony's thing to a whole nother level.
Right. Now, really. It's funny. Like, I don't think a lot of people know that y'all are actually blood brothers, real brothers. So I think a lot of people are like, oh, they broke up, whatever. But you guys still work together pretty often. My question is, will any of that music ever see the light of day?
Yeah, I'm working on something right now, man, that's so cold. I'm gonna leak it because this is the first thing. It's called The Plant That Saved the Planet.
Okay.
What you think that is?
I heard.
Oh, what are you saying? So me and Ray got together, man, a year. We worked on this track. He had this track he did, wanted me to get on. It sounded like Earth, Wind & Fire. It was groovy and laying on hope, but I was just letting him know, man, Oakland is different. Right now, it's so much, you know. I got a CBD company that I'm working with called Nuri, and the whole bit. So, you know what I mean? And that's not nothing to do with the Get High side, but you know, I understand that. So letting them know, man, we really got to interject something that's the score track to be related to whatever comes out in this cannabis world. So this song called The Plant That Saved the Planet. I'm so looking forward to that coming through.
Dope. And
I got some surprise hitters on that track coming. So right now it's just me and Raphael.
Okay.
On acoustic guitar and the drum beat, and it's fly, yeah.
That's definitely hard, man. When you see your brother, man, do something that's as groundbreaking as the stuff that he did for Solange,
I feel like
how
that's
does
me.
that make you feel?
It made me feel like that's me, man, because it's the same energy. It's the same ass energy, and I'm so thankful to keep that part of me. Where you like seeing people win. When I see whoever that I've dealt with, and I mean all of them, I'm like, no. Because you know, you can remember sitting down and telling you got to learn Spanish. Why? Because it's gonna be like this, and if you really understand the music, it does. So when I see people doing things that I said, or maybe they heard from Babyface when he worked with them or whatever, I know I had something to do with supporting that artist. You know, keeping the true value of our culture, man.
Gotcha.
And that's what's fly as fuck to me.
Got you. We you and your brother have both been, you know, pretty vocal over the years about the issues that different family members have had with drugs and things of that nature, man. And this kind of ties into, you know, things changing, weed becoming legal in so many places, man. What do you think about the fact that right now, since it's hitting different neighborhoods, it's an opioid crisis, but when it was ravaging the town in LA and Chicago and New York back in the day, it was a war on drugs?
Come on, man. We are not African Americans, we are Africans in America. Put it like that, bro. That's all it really is. And all my 50-something years, I ain't never seen nothing no different, but I know and I realize we are, as long as we keep coming together and building shit, we're winning. We ain't even part of this shutdown shit that happened. We ain't got nothing to do with this. We got our own grid. We should be looking at it like, damn, they're going through this shit right now. And, I don't care who the president, what they got to do with us.
They're going through it.
Really? Really?
Nah,
Can we keep it moving and use this opportunity while everybody being all psychedelic? Let their asses be that way. And let's start, you know, I really, you know what I hate saying? All of us lashing out on stuff in the media about each other and stuff and, you know, whatever it may be, and feeling like we really winning by doing that. Well, what part of the game is that? Like, what part of the game? You know, Facebook is dangerous. I got in it to learn how to promote, but I'm seeing how, whoa, we are really sucking into the game of looking at the me-I sauce on ourselves, myself as well. But, you know, I'm just saying.
He said the me-I sauce.
He's a not. Wow,
it's all about me and I.
That's deep.
A lot of people got the me-I sauce on them. Nothing wrong with that, though.
You was doing a lot of, and still do, a lot of community work back in Oakland, man. Do you plan on translating that out here, too, and doing things?
I have a nonprofit. It's called Youth Aid.
Okay.
And it was inspired by all of those artists I work with. You know,
Gotcha.
I felt like when I fell through the DC project, I recognized that I damn near got a school. Wait a minute. This was in 95, 96. And that's like homeschooling.
Right.
Put them in a 6-bedroom pad house, and the teachers came there, and then they had the studio time set, workout time, and a one-parent chaperone, and Matthew Knowles used to fly. So I realized I had learned how to put somewhat of a private school thing together. That's why I went and got a nonprofit.
Yeah.
And I was like, because this is my passion, but it needs to be funded outside of, you know, ticket sales and stuff. It needs to. It's a credit for this country. You know, our music is like. That's what it is. Our history is. That's what it is.
Gotcha. Man, what do people need to be looking for next from you, man? You always got your hands in multiple things.
I got a movie that I did in the Virgin Islands. It's called Timeless. Look it up. It's timelessthemovie.com. Okay. And it's shot in the Virgin Islands, and it's loosely based on human trafficking, which Started, you know, some things in slavery in Ghana. This last trip in Ghana, I got a chance to visit the Elmina Castle, and then me being involved as executive producer. But besides that, the scoring and soundtrack of the movie.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? That's what I came out here to do. I want to score some dope shit with an Oakland edge, but with that cinematic fly, you know, another level stuff, and that's my passion as well.
Most definitely.
So Timeless is what the Tonys are scoring. Got a lot of music, new music coming through there. I mean, as beautiful as the scenes are, because it's the Virgin Islands and it's the Carnival and all of that, it's loosely based about something that's going on today, human trafficking.
Right.
And I'm honored to have our group as being in the forefront of, you know, something like that and letting the music speak for itself.
For sure, most definitely,
That's
man. We appreciate you coming through, man. Please let people know where they can find you and follow you and all of that.
I'm out there. I mean, I got strange enough, my Facebook is me. I'm OG with it. It's the original one, Dwayne Wiggins Facebook thing. But I got the Instagram and all that stuff too. And then, but I'm not the best one that checks it. So you know what? I follow you. I come to shows every year, and it's the Tonys 100% because that energy, you cannot fake it. It's something that grew up in the late '60s and the early '70s of Oakland, and it's very authentic. Very authentic.
Most definitely, man. Appreciate you coming through. Appreciate y'all watching on Live Hip Hop Daily. Appreciate you listening on whatever podcast app you may have on your phone. Make sure you subscribe, rate, and review, and we will see you next week with another dope show.
Yeah.